Chapter 1. Records of a Despairing Exiled Race. We used to rule over the world. We used to be a proud and glorious race. Nowadays we are but pitiful rats governed by imbeciles. It all started a long time ago. So long I lost any sense of time. But I will always remember the events of these days. I was but a fledgling then. Young and hopeful. Courageous and impetuous. Taking pleasure in fighting in the God war. Bringing glory to my people. We used to be kings. Extremely strong and without equals. An endless army that would bring ruin to our enemies and govern wisely. But then it came. The day of judgment. It came for everyone. Not just us. Out of nowhere. The world became thin in mana. Slowly at first. Ever increasingly fast. We had no choice but to relocate. We small soldiers could have actually survived in such an environment. But not our lords. They were too powerful. Too powerful for the world. They had no choice but to leave it and scheme their return. We had no choice but to follow. And we did willingly. This is the decision I regret the most in my life. We were promised a safe haven. We were promised a new home to await our eventual return. We were promised a lot. But it was all smoke and mirror. All that awaited us in our new world was despair. At first, everything was going well. We still had high morale from surviving a calamity. We were filled with hopes. But we were confronted with a dead and merciless world. Devoid of any life except us. Any other species might have thrived there. But not us. We drew the shorthand of the stick. Worse, we are an immortal race. No amount of suffering will end our pitiful lives. Dying is hard work. The resilience we were proud of became our ticket to a non-stop ordeal. That didn't stop many from committing suicide. Sadly, the 17 lords intervened. They made it a crime to attempt to end one's own life. There used to be 30 lords. But many offed themselves. You'd think, what could scare a man that wants to die already? Well, a fate worse than death. Endless torture. One that the lords have honed through the countless years they have lived. A knowledge of the body so on point that they could use it to save lives. Not that they ever would. And they are always watching. Anyone sane will happily live on. To understand the plight of the masses, knowledge of this world is required. This plane itself is devoid of the very source of joy and sustenance of our race. From time to time a dimensional crack will let some through, but even then the lords are quick to take possession of it. If you are lucky and offer it to a kind ruler, you might also get a taste. Being unlucky, you might end up getting eaten as a side dish. Well, there are worse ways to go. When even the kings are starving, the populace becomes living hungry ghosts. If it wasn't enough, the outside world is deadly and the ground so sturdy digging to make shelters is close to impossible. After countless years we do have some by now. But even then, we are still crammed like sardines in it. We look like the livestock we used to look down upon. Pitiful. It is better than it used to be. But not enough to rekindle any hope. But there is a path of survival for us. There are rules to the deadliness. Half of the time we can actually head outside and wander around. But even then, we look like specters. Hungry. Purposeless and dead inside, yet moving about. Then the other half it's back to stacking in a tiny cave. Rats, I tell you. There are actually natural hideouts existing. This is how our race first survived upon our arrival. Then the rulers ordered us to tirelessly dig shelters for our race. We did so valiantly. Relentlessly. We had hopes of finally living in close to decent conditions. That is not what happened. The rulers kept most of the space available for their own use. Exiled us to the few burrows we made after countless years or toiling hard. Because of this, the expansion pretty much halted. What is the point of working hard just for it to be taken as spoils by our leaders? All of this has been going in accordance with the blood god's will. The God I used to worship faithfully myself. The one we are forced to follow. I am having doubts by now. Of course. I won't voice it. I am actually a small cult leader myself. A nice sounding title that doesn't bring any benefits. But either way, it has been ages since that God of ours made an apparition. Even indirectly through an oracle of something. Sigh. Why are we not rebelling? Because we are weak. And the lords are strong. The strongest. Rebelling means a fate worse than death. There is one silver lining to this. The death games. A brutal fight in which two of our brethren fight each other in a match to the death. Once a week. The best kind of entertainment for our rulers. Successfully losing such a fight is my goal. Of course. Such a thing is close to impossible. One needs to first draw the lottery to be chosen. Then one needs to successfully lose the fight. Yes. It is possible to fail to lose it. For one, we need to give our all in these fights. Both contestants want nothing more than to die. But they need to act like they are getting overwhelmed by the opponent. The hard part is acting well enough. So the rulers actually believe it. For that very reason that I have become a small religious leader. To practice my acting. I have become so good at it that recently that I even managed to rekindle the hopes of some of my comrades. Telling them about our upcoming glorious return. To the old world. How risible, haha. Yes. My bullshitting talent is improving for sure. Sadly, my luck has been bad. Well. Drawing the lottery is almost a pointless endeavor given the low chances. Still, one needs to dream. This week I haven't gotten it. Next week maybe. As I rest in the shelter next to my squirming brethren. I think about how it must look outside at this time. Blue sky. Pure water. Cool winds. Fresh air. Lush grass. And an ever so radiant sun. It would be a utopia for most. Sadly, we are vampires. Annoyed face. Chapter 2. Braving the deadly outside world. Another week that ended in failure. I have stopped counting how many elapsed by now. Lottery, one day I will best you. The chosen death gladiators this week were a bunch of morons too. Their acting was pitiful. They only ended up lacerating each other pointlessly. In the end, they both got bagged for giving a pitiful show. I do not wish to even know the horrors that await them. Oh well. Not my business. Today some of my followers came to find me. A few of the ones I managed to convince. Hope for the future. Dreams. Yada yada. They excitedly came at me chirping about perspection. Perspection is when we drag around our weary bodies like dumbasses for hours in search of a natural cave. Of course. It isn't related to mining or the likes. Because of how incredibly sturdy the ground is. Of course, in such a situation I would naturally beat the fool and tell him to go F himself with his pointless endeavors. Sadly, I am a respected small cult leader. I plaster a totally real-looking smile on my face. Then I kindly explain that over the years all of the surroundings have been searched already without any success. Finding one is thus close to impossible, and their energy would be better spent on worshipping the blood god. Of course, in my head, I'm snickering about how that second activity serves even less of a purpose. They are insistent. Fools. Painfully annoying fools. Can I smack them? No. I am a respected leader. I need to show the example. We convene to assemble as soon as the sun goes down. Now here I am, with a bunch of nitwits going on a dumb quest for something we won't ever find. Okay. It is probably my fault for being too convincing, and handsome, and charismatic, and, you get it? Albeit I do look a bit withered since I have not eaten for centuries. Oh well. So off we go. I say a few words of encouragement. I make sure to look valiant. I am cursing them all in my head. Hope they would just burn already. Get obliterated by the sun and stop bothering me. Of course. That would be bad. After all, it took me some effort to brainwash, show them the way. While there are no concrete perks to being a small cult leader, it still provides a slight safety net. If a lord decides that it's time for me to die, I'll be doomed either way. But what if a lord sends a subordinate the order to get a random vampire to torture? I probably will be safe in that case. Replacing me would be a slight tiny hassle. While they don't care about my lowly existence at all, I might survive such a scenario. I don't know. Either way, it is an opportunity to practice my acting. Gotta see the dark side of everything, as we say. I'm an optimist, able to find the best in the worst situations. But then again, I know people that dislike that tendency of mine. They can all burn for all I care. So we are walking. And walking some more. And walking some fucking more. This is such a pain. And every time they address me, I have to do a small impromptu speech about how we shouldn't lose hope. How we should keep striving for greatness. Until we find that mythical thing known as a cave. Yep. How low have we fallen? We went from living in majestic castles to living like vagrants. Hoping to find a damn cave. As if it was something great and awesome. Flips table. Of course. Being the prudent leader that I am, I keep a close tab on the time. After all, we need to make sure we have ample time left to rush back to our holes. Before that deadly sun comes about. Of course. If these were the olden days, we wouldn't have to be so fearful. After all, while it counters us big time, it usually won't instantly kill us either. That is in an optimal situation. In our weakened states, we are no match for that ruthless bright foe. Oh well. After a while of playing scout, I figure it is time for us to head back. I take my charismatic voice number 1 variation C and explain the situation to the buffoons. And they refuse to head back just yet. I guess calling them fools was overestimating them. Oh well. After a short discussion we compromise. We'll turn around soon. Not as much wiggle room as it would like. But still manageable. Some more time passes. Alright, time to take a firm stand and my left arm goes flying. What? One of my most devout followers attacked me. What is wrong with him? What are you doing? He doesn't answer. He keeps up the assault. Worse, the others are joining in. 10 of them against little old me. Damn it. Have they all gone crazy? What are you all doing? This goes against the teachings of the blood god. Apparently. My words remain unheard. They are sieging me from all sides. Front. Back. Top. Down below. What is that last guy? A cockroach. I hold my ground solidly. I am way more experienced than them. Damn it. If only I have my left arm, this would be over already. The more we fight, the more I realize I am in huge trouble. They are not that good at fighting. But I can't capitalize on the small mistakes they commit. Every time I try to, I need to dodge an incapacitating blow from some random direction. I am playing a losing game. I try diplomacy. I try anger. I try pleading. None of it works. We end up skirmishing for hours. Then I lose. They tie me up. With a rope made of grass. How they even made one from the grass that is extremely sturdy is a wonder. I can still move around. But only extremely slowly. This is a death sentence. By running they will have enough time to head back. I am doomed. But why did they betray me? Why? That I cannot understand. At all. I have been nothing but supportive of them. I even joined on this horrible mission. Why? I just want to know. And to kill them all. In the most violent way possible. Sigh. Chapter 3. Going out with a bang. This is dumb. Such a dumb way to go. I'll be dead at last. But there is no bigger shame than to die from the sun. Well. That and the fact that is said to cause our very soul to burn in a fiery blaze till the end of times. The scariest thing there is. Eternal torture of the soul. A pain so imaginable. Bodily destruction is nothing compared to it. It doesn't make sense for them to go to such lengths to kill me. Will I ever know their motivation? Apparently yes. The main goon decides to make an evil speech about it. Usually. I would use this opportunity to slice their necks. Sadly. I am firmly bound. So I have to suffer a typical third-rate villain monologue. About how they couldn't take listening to me anymore. How they weren't able to fake taking interest in all the shit I was spewing. That they would rather listen to anyone but me. That it reached a point where one of them even suggested committing solar self-eradication to get away from me. How that's how they got the idea to get rid of me. Bind me here. Leave me for dead. That it would somehow account for all the suffering they have been through. That doesn't make any sense. Unless. These guys are crazies. These dumbasses are also such good actors. What the hell? I'm a pro. What old that make them? Acting gods? I guess all their intelligence went into that one skill. And somehow there are 10 of them. And they got lucky to find grass lying around already cut. Probably from a dimensional storm or something. What are the odds? As the monologue gets heated. I suddenly hop and I. Asterisk crunch. Asterisk. Managed to disable the leader. That's what you get for monologuing. Dumbass. I muster the most vicious look I can. The effect is somehow diminished by the fact that I am bound. But somehow. I see them shuddering. Then they run away. It doesn't make any sense. They could have ended me easily. At this point. They seemingly lost all rational capacity. I guess they all decided I was already dead and that no one had the courage to face a man with nothing to lose anymore. I'm still screwed. But small victories should be celebrated. I look at the disabled vampire next to me. I taunt him. Hard. Tell him he'll share the same fate as the mighty me. I might die soon but he will have the luxury to hear my preaching until the very end. He turns pale. That is something extremely hard for a vampire that is already as white as it gets. He is screaming and begging for mercy. But I won't let him off that easily. He tries to destroy his earring. But I don't let him. I break his arms. He has no way to block the sound. He tries to bash his own head against the ground. But a vampire vitality is not so easy to extinguish. Even in our weakened state. He starts crawling away. But so what? I slowly, but surely follow him. Hopping about. I keep talking. The more I talk the more he despairs. He is going crazy. I do not care. This is some small punishment for causing my demise. The last glory to be had in my existence before it ends. Destroyed a traitor. In the worst possible way. Honestly. That would be a lie. I am seriously preaching. Nothing close to torture. It's these guys that don't deserve to live. Couldn't even discern my sincere efforts. TCHE. This going on for a while. In a few minutes. The sun will appear and I will disappear. They say when faced with death. True death, you can see your life flashing your eyes. All I see is a twit squirming on the ground pointlessly. Guess it was either a lie or it doesn't apply to undeads. Oh well. Asterisk sigh asterisk. I look at the still dark sky once last time. I look at the green earth once more. And I... Wait. Where is that crawling piece of shit? This is impossible. It was here a second ago. Where? Ah, I see. Ha 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 ha. There is a hole. Hidden under the grass. Seems to lead to an underground cave. Ironic how this discovery happens. I follow a dark tunnel. Dark is the best. There he is. I see it twisting on the ground. Honestly. It is really impressive that I am less injured than a man I simply bit at first. One more proof that these guys are idiots. The true and as rare as a phoenix kind. I kindly pick him up. Then I whisper next to his ear that I will show him mercy. That I will exempt him from my sermons just this once. He is struggling. But I do not care. I hop with him somehow. Not the prettiest scene. But I do not care. I am happy right now. The happiest I have ever been. What will happen next brings me enormous joy. I can see some light coming from the outside. It doesn't reach the cave because of the long tunnel. I ever so slowly push him in toward the oh so beautiful light. He begs for mercy. He says he wants to listen to my teachings some more. That we are both serving the blood god. That we shouldn't fight between vampires. Ah, what a fickle individual. Didn't I say that last chapter? He didn't want to hear anything about it? Guess he learned. That's good. But that won't change that he tried to kill me. Lesson time, when you try to plot against someone, make sure you do it well. If you screw up, you need to either go into hiding right away or have a scapegoat ready. I heard this motto from a famous shadow race once back in the old world. A bunch of natural-born tricksters. Ones will murder you playfully. Anyway. Have fun getting your soul burned forever. Guess that one wish of mine did come true. 9 more to go. Wait till I get back. Smiley face. Chapter 4. A cookie from outer space. Ah. That was fun. Him turning into ashes because of the light. It both awed me and terrorized my very being. I can finally relax and enjoy my current safety. Only issue is I am still missing my left arm. But then again, it isn't unheard of for vampires to regrow limbs. Sadly. It won't ever be possible in this place. Even reconnecting it would not work. There is no creature more pitiful than a limbless, headless vampire. Yes. We can survive that. However, such a situation is frankly the worst possible. Well, besides burning from sunlight shudders. I lay in the center of the cave and fall into a deep slumber. Or I try to anyway. The constant hunger is making it impossible. You'd think I'd be used to it after centuries. Nope. This hunger is the worst. Not only a physical hunger. One deeper. My theory is that it is my very soul that is sending me warning messages. It would go something like, hey, careful, if you sleep now you might never wake up. That wouldn't be bad. Sleeping forever. Sigh. What am I going to do? For now, I will stay in this cave for sure. At least until the day passes. For the day is bright and full of terrors. But what comes after? I really want to get revenge on these guys. But I also really like having my own personal cave. Me going back would be a Pyrrhic victory. Are there 9 lives combined worth more than my own? Definitely not. Returning is madness. There is no way I will. Not right now anyway. Yep. That's decided. This has been a short, but meaningful inner deliberation. Here I will easily get bored. I also need to remain hidden from the nest. That shouldn't be much of an issue. So here I am lying on the cold ground. Just chilling. Literally haha. Sound of space getting shattered. What? A bright flash of light. Raw chaotic energy. Spilling out from a portal-looking thingy. I've heard of these things. A dimensional crack. That thing almost killed me. That space is, well, chaotic. It destroys anything that enters it. Mostly. It connects the worlds together. No one seems to really know how it works. All we know is that sometimes the fabric of the universe has a short breakdown. Then stuff gets sent from one place to another. Randomly. With crushing pressure associated. Most of the time anyway. In between both seems to be a void. No one ever survived going through one, so we can't be sure. The point is, this is a gateway to another world. Usually. I would be extremely happy about seeing one. After all, the chances of finding one are even lower than winning the death lottery. Easy way to end it all. But not today. Life has taken a turn for the better. I found myself a nice cold gloomy cave. Devoid of anything worthy of notice. The best. I guess I will just wait patiently until it is gone. Yes. I will do as I do with my followers. Let it be noisy in the background. Don't care. Whatever. Whoosh. What kind of sound effect was that? Oh. I see. Something came out from it. I slowly and carefully approach it. I'd poke it with a stick right about now if I had one. Sadly. It is day outside and wood isn't that easy to find. It looks to be a black gem of some sort. What is happening? I carefully touch it. Everything seems fine. It is cold to the touch. Nothing special at first glance. I bring it closer to my eyes. I can read some words etched into it. I slowly decipher it. Ever so slowly. Not because the words are foreign or half destroyed, but because I have forgotten how to read. It has been too long after all since I had to use my literary skills. Remembering is hard. I'm so concentrated upon the task that at some point I realize the portal is already gone. When did it happen? No idea. But then again, dimensional cracks are like that. Unpredictable. It takes me a long while. Slowly remembering tidbits of what feels like another life. But I finally decipher it. It takes me about a day. I read it aloud. It goes. Property of the cookie sect. Eating cookies while plotting the downfall of the world. Okay. I obviously made a mistake. Let me try again. Ensues another day of hard work. Let me see. I'm sure I did it correctly this time. Okay. It reads. Property of the cookie sect. Eating cookies while plotting the downfall of the world. What the F is this? Seriously? What kind of sick bastard came up with such a twisted joke? Okay. Calm down. I have a small black crystal with some ridiculous message written on it. Does that help me in any way? Probably not. Should I experiment some more? The answer is definitely not. But I am bored. So I will. Nonetheless. Let's try injecting some mana in it. Normally I would use blood magic. But what blood? Guess I'll use some attribute-less magic. Oh god. The mana is getting sucked in. I have a bad feeling about this. Nothing seems to happen. I inject some more mana. Remember, kids, don't do that at home. Magical artifacts can be dangerous. But then again, I am an immortal monster that only fears the sun and the lack of food. Chances are low for that to be contained in a dark gem. It keeps going until... New phone, who dis? I throw the crystal as far as I can. Nothing is happening. Weird. It was just a voice. Does not seem to be dangerous. I get close to it. I did throw it as far as I could, a good 4 meters. At the bottom of the cavernous wall. I carefully touch it again. Moshi moshi. New phone, who dis? What kind of devilish contraption is that? First, the ridiculous message inscribed, and now this. You gotta think about your answer while driving your mana inside, you know. Hello. Who are you? I try to make my voice as respectful as possible. I do not know what kind of individual or creature I am dealing with here. Me? I'm the sect master of the unnamed god sect. As for what that entails, it might require a bit of time. Some sect? Sect master? Someone that can communicate directly with a god, possibly? This might be an opportunity. Worst case, nothing changes. And I'll remain at the mercy of the lords. This might be dangerous. But I'll take the gamble. I take refined voice 3 variation B. Here goes nothing. A pleasure to meet you. Would you be so kind as to tell me more? I have nothing but time after all. Chapter 5. My lord. My lord. My lord. First, I gotta be careful. From the gem itself, I am guessing this magic item is related to an evil sect. The part about the cookies suggests that they are tricksters too. The more I analyze this, the more I realize how foolish what I am doing is. But centuries of boredom will do that to you. It is stronger than me. I feel alive again for once. Not that I ever was. I'm a pure-blood undead after all. Oh? So you have time at... I'm busy. However, I charge every call per minute. How long do you want to chat, darling? Call? Charge per minute? Does he want a sacrifice? Just kidding. Ain't a hotline here, haha. Alright. Let me see. This is the exposition part at... Boring stuff, really. Let me see. We a good sect. Kinda. We do our stuff. Others do whatever. We give no fuck. If they annoy us voluntarily, we wipe them all. Also, we all up AF. We are a legion. We have pie. We have training montages. Does that help? What is all this? Hotline. What kind of upright sect wipes sects? Up AF, what is that? Pie. A race that needs to eat food? What is a training montage? How does any of this help? It will just confuse me. Alright. Relax. Too much for you in one go? Just take a deep breath and tell me what question you have. I'm a vampire. I don't breathe. Okay. Just relax. What question should I ask first? I need to figure out the important information first. What is a call and a hotline? This is definitely related to the weird magic at play here. Oh, A call is a way to communicate, and a hotline is something horny, lonely people call to feel a spark of love in their otherwise empty lives. In exchange they offer remuneration, of course. There are lots of vampires leading empty lives here. Not sure about what the whole love part is. However, but I need to know more about the call thing. How does a call work? Oh, that thing? I don't know. You'd need to ask the cookie people. They be a subdivision of ours. Recently joined. They are hilarious, I tell you. But all you need to know is that it is easy to use. Just send mana to it and done. How can it work even after passing through the void? Especially with the seemingly dimensional turbulences inside? Don't know. Don't care. Now tell me about you. What would he like to know? Is he curious or simply testing me? Maybe injecting mana already gave him some information about me. He seems oddly confident. Any chance this is a trap? Probably not. I'll answer honestly. There is too much I don't know about him. I dislike the current status quo of my situation anyway. Well, living in a cave by myself is awesome, but still. I tell him everything about me. And also about my own race. The vampires. That would make me a traitor, but met. So what? He doesn't seem surprised by anything he hears. Sometimes muttering about how cliché it is or passing sly remarks about our so-called leadership. He never once loses his cool during the conversation. We the bloodsuckers used to be feared. Hearing our name would send the various races into a panic. He shows no trace of it. This simply reinforced my supposition that he's a really strong entity. After all, never has one managed to contact us in this realm. Either voluntarily or involuntarily. He is the first. As far as I know anyway. He asks why we did not build any tools. I answer that this world only seems to have grass, soil, and rock. And even destroying a strand of grass is a challenge. Everything is incredibly sturdy here. He asks why we did not explore and conquer this world right after our arrival. Back when we were still full of vitality. I tell him that no one realized the issue. We, vampires, were previously too strong. Before we knew it, we were weakened too much by the passage of time. Doesn't help that we are a race that likes to slumber for long period from time to time. He asks why we are stuck half a day from the nest. Why we don't build small relay holes and try to find more natural caves? I tell him that the lords don't care that we have barely enough room to survive. They have plenty. In his eyes, the mighty lords are nothing but imbeciles. Dumbass. Simple-minded fools. Witless old things. And he keeps the derogatory terms coming. It is oddly satisfying. I feel like he is expressing aloud all the things I've ever wanted to say. Well, in my head it seems. Via magic at that. Still. It is refreshing. I knew I couldn't be the only sane one. Well. He is not a vampire, but that matters not to me at this point. So you are telling me you guys have an invincible undying army and your leaders are just watching as they all try to die? Instead of doing something productive like training or writing some unnamed god fanfic. I'm not sure what fanfic is. But then again, I'm getting used to it. This being has an extremely high level of knowledge. Most of the terms are foreign to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he even knew a way to get out of here, haha. Wait. Why didn't I try that before? Gotta be polite. My lord. Do you perhaps know how it would be possible for me to get out of here? It would be my honor to find a way to go to your side and serve you. Oh? That? Well. Can't you just use this gem as a beacon to guide you here? Simple stuff, really. How do you think we are even communicating, haha? OMG. True that. Wait, there is an issue. My lord. I have nowhere near the skills required to accomplish such a task. I don't know any space magic and I also haven't drunk blood in a long. Aren't you a proud member of a supposedly mighty undead race? Figure it out yourself. Well, gotta go. Left a pie in the oven. Later. My lord. My lord? My lord. How am I supposed to even do that? Think. Think. Think.